Hello and welcome to Enterprise Morning on Enterprise Television. I am Kende Bodu.
Okay.
And I am Henry Igwebike.
All right, we are delighted to start the day with you. And as always, we begin with a quick look at today's newspaper headlines before diving into the main conversation of the day. You don't want to miss a moment with it, right? You can join the conversation by liking, following us on all our social media platforms at Enterprise TV7. And please do well to share. Thank you. So joining us this morning is His Greatness Agadaigo Esquire. He will be sharing expert insights on the issues we have before us. You're welcome, sir.
Good morning to you, Barrister, and welcome.
Good morning.
I can't hear you very clearly.
Can you hear us now, Barrister? Good morning. Can you hear us?
Okay, I'm squinting, Shaba. I wish the audio can be louder.
All right, so our people will get that done in a jiffy.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much for your time. We really do appreciate you. So what newspapers are we starting with?
In fact, we have all the newspapers here, but we'll just start with the Guardian newspaper. So on the big story on the Guardian newspaper, we have sex new, that's SECS, sex new capital rules stir anxiety, stress test portfolio managers.
And also on the top strip, we have federal government to inject 30 billion naira in 74 federal universities as unions urge pact execution.
Okay, we also have Oyo Group decry Nigeria's 150,000 sickle cell births yearly burden.
And also federal government bans mining activities within 10 kilometers radius of bridge nationwide.
Okay, we have Pegasan pushes for minimum wage replacement with sectorial CBAs.
All right, so let's just get to the talking point for today. Barrister, you can hear us now, isn't it? Can you hear us, Barrister?
I can.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you so very much. So let's get to this talking point. Barrister, there's this rumor. We're still hoping that the federal government would talk to it, that the federal government is planning to site a gold refinery in Lagos as against where those golds are gotten from. Does it truly make any sense? Does it speak to physical federalism at this point? Gold is found in Zamfara and Sokoto, and the federal government under President Bola Tinubu, maybe because he is from Lagos, is hoping to site a gold refinery yet again in the overpopulated Lagos. What's your take on this?
My take is exactly your take on it now, that it is inappropriate. It's completely inappropriate. You know, if you watch oil, to the best of my knowledge and your knowledge, oil is not being explored in Lagos, yes.
Yeah.
And Shell and other major oil exploration companies have their headquarters in Lagos. Which is instead of their operational base. And this creates dislocation in the performance of the activities, even logistics, approvals of these oil exploration companies. And because even if the operational command is in the riverine areas and oil producing states, if it is headquartered in Lagos, you know that the line of communication in reaching key decision, consensus, and giving directives will not be so swift as it ought to be. So it makes the performance of the duties and core responsibilities and mandates of these oil exploration companies dysfunctional, as it were. I use that word advisedly. Makes it so in the same vein. That's why I'm not drawing a parallel. Citing headquarters for gold and other solid mineral exploration companies in Lagos, instead of the place where these minerals are resource, will also make the smooth operation of this mineral stroke mining companies dysfunctional, DYS functional, to make it dysfunctional. That is exactly what is going to play out. And I don't know whether, you know, the present minister of solid minerals was the former commissioner of Lagos State during the time of Bola Tinubu as governor. I don't know whether it is based on this sentiment, ethnic sentiment, state sentiment, where are you from sentiment, and patronage accordingly, that has made him the current minister of solid minerals, who has promised to grow the solid mineral ministry in such a way and manner that it will be a much more reliable foreign revenue earner for Nigeria than even oil. He made that pledge on assumption of office.
Okay.
He made that pledge. But funny enough, it's not sufficient to make pledge. From the way you carry out the administration of your ministry, that's when we know that the goals you have set to yourself are achievable or not, they are attainable or not. One of the steps that must immediately be taken, if that is very lofty goal must be achieved, is that he must be completely unsentimental, untribalistic. He is a servant to all the states in the Nigerian Federation, including Abuja. And so his primary constituency is no more Lagos State,
Okay.
but the entire 36 states and Abuja and FCT.
Okay.
Those are his primary constituents. So in making and reaching key decisions, he must make it in such a way and manner that his priorities are how to foster growth, development, improvement, functionality to the solid mineral sector.
All right.
All right.
And he must put square pegs in square holes. He must utilize, make optimum use of resources available to him, including ensuring that solid minerals in Zamfara and Sokoto, the offices of solid mineral companies, and even the arm of the ministry that oversees the mining of these solid minerals are headquartered in those states where they are mined and explored. So he must put his foot down to do this right thing if he must achieve his own goal that he has set for himself.
Okay.
And if he must also put his name in the legacies of those who transformed the solid mineral sector.
Well said.
Thank you very much.
Well said. So we'll be looking at the Vanguard newspaper, and we have a story there. 52 suspects arrested in Ekpoma for looting, vandalism, and it's coming from the IGP. Now, I want us to look at the detention limits and also how it can be prevented. You know, this kind of situations can be prevented. So how long can, because this is your area of duty, sir, so how long can suspects be detained legally, and how can recurrence be prevented? How can this be prevented not to happen again?
Sorry, please, kindly come again. I'm very sorry, sir. Please, I didn't get you.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
I'm
no
struggling
problem.
to hear you.
Oh,
very
okay.
sorry.
Can you hear me now? I think I should be audible. Okay. So the story here is 52 suspects arrested in Ekpoma for looting, vandalism, and this is coming from the IGP. So now I want us to look at the detention limit and how we can prevent this situation from happening again. So how long can suspects be detained legally, and how can this situation be curbed?
Yes, and just to add on that question, Barrister, remember we talked about this some days back, about students of Ambrose Ali University that were arrested as a result of the protest against kidnapping in Edo State. Yeah. Now the IGP has come to turn that around to call them vandals.
Yeah.
So which is which exactly now? They have been released, they'll be recaptured again. Where do we stand in coupled with what Kenny just asked? How long can we keep them in detention?
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear
Very
me?
well, Barrister.
Okay. Let us start by taking a cursory look at the history of detention of protesters against all forms of injustice, most especially students. And like I said some days ago, in 1993, I don't know how old, which school you were in 1993, but in 1993, student ASU and the students organization came out, they all came out and protested against June 12th heavily for the rehabilitation of June 12th in Benin, most especially in Benin, Edo State. Uniben students, I was not in Uniben then, came and protested heavily. After the protest and they went back to their hostel that day, the following day, military personnel invaded the University of Benin to such an extent that they were just arresting wantonly any students found in the premises. In fact, they broke into the hostels, reported the female students were raped, beaten, injured, maybe they killed some people, and the rest. That was in 1993. By 1996-97, I was privileged to enter that university as a law student. And the injuries, the psychological trauma of that incident in 1993, you could still see it pervasive all over University of Benin, to an extent that in Uniben, I don't know whether it's still there because I've left there quite a lot of years ago, but there's a place that was now named June 12th to remember that horrific event where the university students who protested against the injustice done on June 12th, the university community was invaded, brutalized, put in serious anguish, and completely reduced to nothing as it were. And the next day, students, by the next day after this happened, parents sent for their students and the whole university community was empty.
Okay.
So you see, but the only thing that is so painful to me hearing this disturbing event is that when those students were protesting in 1993, University of Benin students, one of their co-protesters is Bola Tinubu, who is now, fortunately and most surprising, now the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I'm sure he had his own fair share of pains and anguish he suffered for protesting for the actualization of June 12th election of 1993. So as president, even if we have complained of so many failings of his government, but one thing we will say is that such a dark episode in our history ought not to be repeated under any guise ever again.
Yeah.
I expected that even during, although I did not watch his inauguration speech, but I want to expect that he must have even recalled that event and made a clear declaration that never again will this happen in our land. Never again. Never again. But unfortunately, we are seeing it happening time and time again under his watch, under his very watch. We are seeing it play out even globally, giving Nigeria global bad name characterization. So it's completely unfortunate.
Okay.
And I think it's a very poor, painful, and distressing legacy by the Bola Tinubu administration. Having said that, how long can suspects who have been detained be lawfully arrested before they are charged with court? Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution says 48 days, 48 hours, that's 2 days within 48 hours, as long as there's a cause around the area where they have been arrested. And we know that there are courts around that every manifest where the magistrate court or high court. So not more than 48 hours. Anything over and above 48 hours amounts to an unlawful arrest, detention, and a gross violent violation of the rights of the suspect. Because at this stage, they are still suspects and they are presumed innocent until proven guilty. So they have a right of presumption of innocence. And again, so I hope that when the police, you arrested them, granted them bail. So it is, I consider it very uncivilized and even barbaric that having granted people bail, you now went to arrest and detain them. If you have now concluded your investigation and you now have your proof of evidence with which you want to charge them to court, the civilized thing is to invite them through the addresses that they have provided, or to invite them through their shorties to file court summons and serve on them. Then if they fail to honor court summons, because at this stage now they are not arresting them again to do further investigation. If they are arresting them again and detaining them, is to charge them to court for a known law, not an unknown law, not an expired law, not a law that has been abrogated. And I hope they will not be charged for wandering, and I hope also they will not be charged for conduct likely to breach peace.
Okay.
I hope not. I hope they'll be charged for clear-cut and well-defined offenses that have been provided by extant rules, regulations, and laws of the land that can be authenticated and verified, having had sufficient time to carry out diligent investigation. So I hope that, because these are the abuse in our criminal administration procedures in Nigeria. And let me just make this, I think the time has now come where the prosecutorial powers of the police must be withdrawn. The police, I hope you heard. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, very well. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes. It is now time for all Nigerians, including we civil rights advocates, in collaboration with the media and civil society organizations, to now start a serious agitation and campaign that the prosecutorial powers of the police have been abused again and again over time and has made nonsense of our criminal administration goals and objectives. So it needs a full, total, and complete withdrawal. Police should be restricted to only investigation, and in conclusion of their investigation, they should hand over their exhibits, their evidence, their findings, their facts, and the entire case file to officials of Ministry of Justice to now carry out a verification process, an independent verification process, where they will now have to even do personal scrutiny of the witnesses the police have assembled. Number one, to see whether there is simply a prima facie case to start with, one. And secondly, whether with the evidence and witnesses provided by the police, it is enough, it is sufficient to sustain a criminal charge in court, so as not to waste scarce commodities, scarce resources scarce state resources and resources allocated to Ministry of Justice to pursue shadows, which
All
will
right.
end up as failures for lack of diligent prosecution.
Yes,
So
we truly do hope.
until we remove these prosecutorial powers from the police, we will keep having these embarrassing scenarios over time and time again, so that the police can fully focus on investigation of cases and leave the expertise of officials of Ministry of Justice to deal with the prosecution of alleged offenders.
All right, that's very well said, Barrister. We truly do appreciate that, and we hope that the police authority would listen to some of these things and do what they should do, because they say police is your friend.
Yes.
But I do not know if Nigerians believe that police is their friend, because when you see a policeman, it's no longer looking like your friend. Even when they are your neighbor, your close-door neighbor, you have to be very careful. But of course, Barrister will still be here to take us on our main conversation. When we return, legal battle over Tinubu's reverse emergency nears a verdict. In the Beat Enterprise morning, it is.
We'll be right back.